The reason you do what you do is because you believe what you believe. So in order to change your beliefs, you literally have to get new information.
If you don't celebrate small wins for your team, you're going to have less people than you thought that are bought in.
What you frequently see becomes your frequency, and that's your vibration. If you were Satan, how would you stop a man from being successful?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of Mick Unplugged, and today we've got a showstopper for you. Today's guest is a self-made powerhouse. He's the visionary behind Lightspeed VT and a game-changing sales trainer whose no-nonsense advice has inspired millions worldwide. As an entrepreneur, author, and podcast host, he's mastered the art of scaling businesses and igniting personal success. Get ready to learn from the fearless, the influential, the unstoppable, my good friend, Mr. Brad Lea. Brad, how you doing today, brother?
Good, Mick. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you.
Man, thanks for coming on, man. You know, like I was telling you about your book, and we're going to go into the book, man. But I just wanted to thank you for writing it because it helps people like me, like understand, one, I don't know everything, right? And two, you give articulate, impactful, succinct advice that people can and should follow, man. So I just wanted to say thank you from my soul for that book.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you for reading it.
And I told you, I'm on time number 2 now, right? I read it. Literally, the book is so good. I read it in 2 days, took a day off, and went back and started rereading it. And I have like highlights and notes and everything in the book, man. But before we get to the book, Brad, you're a powerhouse, right? What is your because? That thing that's deeper than your why? Like, what makes Brad tick? What's the legacy you're trying to leave behind, brother?
You know, that's a great question. I ask myself that often. You know, ultimately, I just feel like God gave us potential, and it's our job to reach it, or at least try. And so I just try to outdo the day before.
That I love, man. That I love. So let's talk about your journey, man. A lot of people may not know this, but at 16, Brad dropped out of school, right? Gonna move to Hollywood and become an actor, gonna do all those things. And then your life changed a little bit, man. So what was that like saying, I'm gonna not just take an opportunity, but in my words, be an opportunity for myself? Like, where did that kick off for you?
Well, when I got kicked out of my house at 16 years old for not mowing the lawn, you know, I was kind of excited, out on my own, no real parental supervision, and just thought to myself, you know, I wanted to be a movie star since I was a little kid. So I figured I'd probably just shoot down to Hollywood and see what I could do. And ultimately, you know, found myself homeless on a beach and didn't want to pay the price to stay there. So I realized there's something called nepotism, which is basically when someone else gets your part or whatnot. Back then, again, I didn't have the same mindset as I do today. But ultimately, I thought, man, I'm going to go get rich so I can make the movie and I can decide who's who in it. And I just didn't realize it would take 30 years. I figured I'd be able to do it in a couple, be on back. And, you know, that didn't happen too well. But I learned a lot. And, you know, ultimately, I think getting kicked out of the house was, in retrospect, kind of a blessing.
Yeah. So you didn't want to mow the lawn, huh? Like that was it? You were just like, I'm done.
Well, I just forgot, really. I mean, you know, I didn't really have much discipline or integrity back then. You know, I was always trying to get away with stuff and, you know, escape responsibility, etc. And I didn't appreciate, you know, having a roof over my head. Kids will be kids, right?
That's it. That's it. One of my favorite quotes by you, Brad, is knowledge isn't power. Applied knowledge is, right? Talk to people about that, man, because to me, as you started learning not just about yourself, but how industries worked and how people work, you didn't just keep it here. A lot of people talk about mindset. That's great. But at some point, you have to apply the things that you feel like you've learned. Like, what was that like for you? And then how do you impart that into others?
Well, believe it or not, Mick, you know, mindset is key, and it is part of taking action, right? With the right mindset, you will take action. A lot of people don't have the confidence. They subconsciously don't believe they're worth any more than they have. So they'll make choices that are not ideal. and they'll just keep themselves down. But I mean, I believe knowledge is power. Applied knowledge is where the rubber meets the road. But you got to understand, if you have the right knowledge, you already know to take action. So I preach three things. First one's mindset. Everyone says mindset, but I really believe it. And I'm talking about from a vibrational energy level.
Correct.
Then there's skill set, and then there's habits. The mindset, most people never get to a point where they will fully understand that ultimately everything's a choice. Everything. I mean, if you think about it, when you wake up in the morning, right, you have a choice to operate in what I call a heavenly frequency or operate in what I call earthly frequency. Mm. Now, we're all vibrating in a frequency. So the heavenly frequencies or the heavenly vibrations or the heavenly energy, as I call it, are all the good things you would assume. Courage, confidence, abundance, happiness, joy, love, courage, all the things that you could imagine.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the earthly is the doubt, the guilt, the shame, the anxiety, the worry, the frustration, the greed, the envy, things of that nature. And we literally have a choice to operate by either one. And we were given free will. And with that free will comes a choice. So we literally have a choice to operate in the heavenly energy or the earthly energy. And unfortunately, most people are unaware that those exist. And to me, it's like a no-brainer. I mean, what you see becomes your frequency.
Yeah.
And if you operate in a frequency, more of those frequencies will come to you. In other words, it's almost like it attracts more to be in that frequency about. So if I'm negative, that will attract more things to be negative about. Yep. And the opposite is true. If I'm positive, it'll attract more things to be positive about. So from the second I wake up, I understand that there's simply a choice to make, and you can choose to operate in your heavenly energy or your earthly energy. And that's all mindset. It's a perspective. And what I try to do is just shift people's perspective by a little bit, because believe it or not, it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And although action is required, I teach that too, but I think mindset's the most important. And that's why people don't take action. They don't have the confidence. They're attracting negative energy. They're allowing negative people to be around them, and it costs them dearly. I don't think most people realize that.
No, totally agree, man. And again, there's some fundamental things that you have in the book, lessons I've learned the hard way, so you don't have to, right? Like, I want to go there because my favorite chapter, and I told you I've been rereading this, is chapter 3, right? And in chapter 3, you go into some really big things, and I have these written down so that I don't mess them up. You've got your sacred 6, right? Freaking love the sacred 6. My favorite 2, because there are things that I also talk about. And I'm going to start with the first one. You've got to rack up some wins. And for me, I have the saying, Brad, you can't be a winner or you can't be a winning person until you first learn how to win one time. And then with the consistency and the habits, then you can build a winning philosophy and become a winner. Talk to us about racking up wins, man, and that philosophy behind that.
Well, I mean, winners win and losers lose. So if you find yourself losing all day long, it's hard to feel like a winner. And the sacred 6 is really how to build your confidence. And the racking up the wins is simply a matter of deciding, because again, who gets to choose what a win is?
Nope.
You do.
Right.
So a lot of people are like, I'm going to make $1 million, and they don't. And so that's a loss. And all day long, they're technically losing, even though someone could say, well, that's pretty good. I don't know if you've ever played sports, but trust me, an L's an L.
Right.
So all people have to do, believe it or not, is lower their idea of what a win is. Like, my win is drinking water, enough water. Mm-hmm. My win is brushing my teeth. My win is raising my heart rate and exercising. I got wins happening all throughout the day from the second I wake up. The first and most important win of all is just gratitude. That's that choosing that energy. Gratitude is in the heavenly energy. I wake up and I realize there's no amount of money that would be worth me not waking up.
Yep.
So when I wake up, no matter what else happens, I won. So literally my mind goes to a win. The second I wake up, I start getting excited, enthusiastic. Why? Because again, I chose heavenly energy. I chose to be grateful. Nothing needs to happen. I don't need anything else to happen.
Yep.
So that's a win. Then I jump out of bed enthusiastically and I go hit the gym, get the heart rate going. Why? Because I'm going to be bombarded with negativity all day long. I might as well, beef up the shields.
Right.
So then I hydrate. I drink the water. Then I obviously go to work and do all that. But before I leave the house, I wake up with extreme gratitude. I work out. I focus on relationships because that's what's key.
Yep.
Then I focus on reading my brain. And then I focus on some money because money's also important. But back to the racking up the wins. It's pretty simple. People, in order to get confident, need to feel like a winner. Yep. And confidence is really just the memory of winning. So if you can just lower what you consider a win, most people won't tell you that. They'll tell you to stretch your goals and set high standards and all this. Yeah, you can do that also. But I'm talking about on a daily basis. Start celebrating the little things that most people take for granted. And you will literally start walking a little taller. You'll start feeling a little bit better about yourself. But then number 4 is get rid of the negativity. As soon as you start to feel better about yourself, bro, everybody and their dog's going to start saying, I don't like the new you. Yeah. What are you trying to do this and that? So all 6 of those are important. Just racking up the wins won't do it. You got to, number 1, forgive yourself. Wipe the slate clean. Okay. Number 2, you have to commit to do what you say you're going to do. That's very important. Yep. Number 3, start racking up the wins on a daily basis. Just celebrate little things all day long. Can you make one more call? Can you walk one more minute? Brush your teeth. Like little things are wins to me. So I'm winning all day long. By the time I get to my office, buddy, I've been winning all morning. I'm walking in like I own the place and rolling out like I sold it. I am extremely excited. Yep. Number 4, I eliminate all the negativity, the headlines, the hate, the nonsense. Then I map out and visualize exactly what success looks like so I know whether it moves me towards or away. Because when it boils down to it, Mick, it's all about choices. The choices you make determine the road you take. Talk about heavenly energy and earthly energy. That's just one choice. You have choices all throughout the day that most people are just bad at making decisions. Yep. So what I do is I map out and visualize exactly what success looks like, and I know specifically what I want. And then ultimately, every choice I make, I ask myself, does that move me towards or away? Yep. So, I can drink water or I can drink beer. I can freaking, work or I can rest, but ultimately, does that move me towards my goal or away from my goal? So it's all about choices. And then number 6, man, I seek information on a regular basis. I develop my mind on a regular basis. I get smarter every single day. I get more aware, more enlightened, more kind, more ethical every single day because I'm seeking information. And most people don't understand what that does. The reason you do what you do is because you believe what you believe. So in order to change your beliefs, you literally have to get new information, because if you got no new information, your beliefs would remain the same, and so would your actions and choices. Yep. So I'm constantly seeking information on a regular basis, which gets me, more aware, more intelligent, more valuable. And so again, that just goes with that confidence. And pretty soon you're walking around like a freaking champ.
Dude, I so believe all of that. When we talk about racking up wins, I talk to leaders about that, especially high power CEOs, where if you don't celebrate small wins for your team, you're going to have less people than you thought that are bought in. Like somebody might physically be on your team, but mentally they're never there because you're pushing them and not celebrating the small things for them. So one of my first key ingredients for any culture that I go into, and we talk about changing culture, is tell me about the wins that you celebrate. And the first thing most people talk to me about are big projects that they had. I'm like, no. That's a project. Like you should get that done. Did you celebrate wins along the way? Because if you didn't, your team is just going to think that that's how you're wired. And maybe you are, but everyone's not wired like you. And so that's why I appreciated that in the book. And then my second part of that chapter, and everybody who doesn't know Brad, most people already know Brad, but he shoots from the hip, right? Like he's a straight shooter. Get rid of the idiots, bro. Get rid of the idiot. I so connected with that because I go through this exercise twice a year where I literally evaluate my circle. And I changed that. I'm not evaluating my circle anymore. I'm just getting rid of idiots, man, because it's so right. And sometimes idiots are entities, not just people. So I'd love for you to elaborate about that a little bit too, bro.
Sometimes it's also environments.
Right.
One time I was using Chat GPT and I put in there, if you were Satan, how would you stop a man from being successful? He gave me 10 things that he would do, one of which is surround you with negative influence environments. And when you go through all 10, you realize that that's the recipe for failure. So the opposite must be true as well. Number one, these almost gave me the chills when I read them because I've heard them a million times. So I said, what would you do to keep someone from being successful? He said, first of all, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank all of a sudden. My phone just dung and I turned it off. Now I'm all brain dead for a minute. But the fourth one was victim mentality. The third one was surround you with negative people. Mm-hmm. So the first one was I would basically plant fear and doubt into your mind. I'd whisper things like it's too risky, you're not good enough, etc. Number two, I would distract you with instant gratification. Mm-hmm. Number three, I would surround you with negative people and environments, influences. Number four, I would give you victim mentality. Number five, I would make sure you remained comfortable. Number six, I would make you think that you had to plan everything. Number seven, I would erode your confidence. Number eight, I would make you focus externally instead of internally. Number nine, I would give you bad habits, especially health. And number 10, I would remove your sense of urgency. And then I wouldn't have to touch you at all because you'd sabotage your own success. And if you think about that, it's like, wait a minute, I've done that a million times. Now I'm thinking, man, was that influenced? So what do you do if you want to win? Well, I would say reverse those things. Okay. Get a sense of urgency. Okay. Start implementing good habits. That's why I'm so big on habits. I mean, the habits in your life will literally determine the quality of it. So extremely good habits, especially health. I would focus inward instead of externally. I would build my confidence with the sacred six, not allow it to be eroded. Mm-hmm. If you just reverse every single one of those, that's the map. That's the path you want to take.
Man, I'm amazed that you had the insight to go to ChatGPT to do that. And then knowing Brad Lea, obviously saying, okay, the opposite then must be true as well, right?
Well, sure.
Like that is freaking fire, dude. Like that is
fire. I mean, if you think about what he said, fill your mind with doubt and fear, whisper things to you. Like, again, a lot of people think that it's going to be yelling at you or it'll be evil. Sometimes, man, listen, you've worked hard. Take it easy. You deserve a day off. Go ahead and eat the donut, bro. It doesn't matter. If they don't like you a little out of shape, then they're probably not your friend anyway. Like all the things we've told ourselves to procrastinate, to do these things, but fill your mind with doubt and fear. Give you instant or distract you with instant gratification. Everybody wants everything immediately, even though we know things take time. Okay, surround yourself with negative people. Why are you allowing all of the negative influences in your life? They constantly will change your energy. Negative energy is powerful. Yep. You can choose positive energy and then hang around negative people, and pretty soon you're going to get negative. The reason why is because what you frequently see becomes your frequency, and that's your vibration. So, I mean, they've talked to water and studied it at a microscopic level, and positive words make these beautiful cellular structures, and negative words would make it bad and almost deformed. So there is 1000% scientific evidence that words matter. Yeah. So the words you tell yourself, the words you allow other people to say around you, it's all affecting you. Yep. And then people can't figure out why they can't win or why they can't break out of the rat race. Yep. And it's not that difficult to do. You focus on your mindset, then you focus on your skill set, then you focus on your habits. Yep. The mindset has to be powerful, and it's a constant battle. Mm-hmm. Then once you get the right mindset, you're able to start really getting your skill sets down. The reason why it's hard to get your skills to the level they need to be without the right mindset is because it's difficult, man. You need grit and discipline, they call it. Yeah. When in reality, it just takes time and practice and hard work. So if you want to be really good at something, well, then it takes a little bit of time. So that instant gratification kicks you out of the race.
Yep.
So if you think about it, I want to be good at sales. I want to be good at communication. I want to be good at marketing. I want to be good at personal branding, and I want to be good at building and nurturing relationships.
Yep.
Those 5 skill sets will put anybody in a position to win. But you have to be good at them, and you have to study them, and you have to like practice and drill and rehearse. And if you don't have the right mindset, they start deteriorating, or you don't get to the level, and then you get victim mentality. It's someone else's fault. It's not my problem. I couldn't do it because of this guy or that reason. That's a victim mentality. So if you start going through what you do, a lot of people do, you start to realize those are the same 10 things, man. Those are the same 10 things that he was talking about. So what I would suggest to any listener, if you guys go to ChatGPT and Google it yourself. Some people told me, well, that came from Outwitting the Devil. You know, I read that book once, but I don't remember it saying those 10 things, but maybe it summarized them. I don't know. But what I do know is if you would reverse those, get a sense of urgency, get good habits, focus internally. That's where the answers are. Build your confidence. Take action. Quit worrying about endless planning. Get uncomfortable. Get rid of your victim mentality. Get rid of all your negative circumstances and people around you. Get rid of the instant gratification, and that will eliminate a lot of the doubt and fear that most people have, which paralyze them into not taking action.
Yep. Amen to that, dude. Amen to that. And, you know, the last thing that you were just talking about, and you referenced it earlier too, is relationships, right? And in chapter 7 of this book, Brad Lea says relationships are the new currency. And I wholeheartedly believe it, right? Because relationships, I met you through Damon John and Chauncey and those guys. And so for me, the relationships that you value, the relationships that you build are not things that get you to the seat at the table, but it's like if you don't value relationships and really value them, then what do you have? Right? Like, what do you really have?
Well, if you think about it like this, when you're born, you require relationships or you die.
Yeah.
And when you're dying, you desire relationships over everything. So why in the middle do we forget how important they are?
Yeah.
They're absolutely required for survival when we're born. And then when we die, nobody wants to check their bank accounts and look at their trophy case and talk about their businesses. They want their loved ones. They want to be surrounded by the people that they care about. So relationships are vital in the beginning and vital at the end. Why do we forget in the middle how important they are? Not to mention, the more hands you shake, the more money you make, period. Your relationships are your resources. Your resources, folks. Look at your relationships. If you don't have the right relationships, it's going to be harder to get where you're going. So you have to reach out and introduce yourself and start building those relationships and nurturing those relationships. And it takes, time, number one. It also takes effort, right? I call it the $1 million morning because I wake up with extreme gratitude. Then I focus on those 4 things: my health, my relationships, my fitness, my health, my relationships, my money, and my mind. To me, it's like people are like, how do you do that? Well, I just text 5 people every day and give them some good news. Tell them I love them, tell them I miss them, tell them I appreciate them, whatever the case may be, with nothing expected in return.
Yep.
And if people would just start doing that, they'd start to realize that these relationships are crucial to your success. I mean, I have people that call me when they need something. I don't want to be one of those guys.
Yeah.
Everybody knows somebody that only calls when they need something. And it's not even intentional. I mean, I didn't call my buddy for a long time. I forgot all about him. And then I needed to move and he had a truck. And I'm like, oh yeah, he's got a truck. Let me call him. So I call him and it's like, what a dick. I haven't even said a word to him in 6 months. The second I need him, boom, call him. Why didn't I reach out and see if I could help him 5-10 times? Yeah. And when you have relationships that are not paying off, it might be the wrong relationships. Yep. So at the end of the day, man, relationships are vital to everybody's success. If you want to be truly successful in life, I'm telling you, relationships. And by the way, that's where the money comes from.
Yep.
Like some people, I just want to get rich. Listen, Money comes from relationships.
Right.
Every dollar I've ever received or will ever receive comes from some kind of relationship. So the more relationships you have, the more opportunities you have, the more resources you have. And coincidentally, when you die, that's what's going to be important. So don't wait until you're on your deathbed to realize that that's what's most important. I say relationships over money, because if you value money over relationships, soon you'll have neither.
If you said nothing else today, Brad, that is powerful. That is powerful. Soon you'll have neither. And, when we talk about sales, right? Brad Lea, these are the opinions of Mick and Mick only, is the best. I don't know if you want to call it sales coach. I'm going to say sales authority. There is no person that I would take advice from if I didn't talk to Brad Lea first when it comes to sales. And I know you talk about relationships and sales, but there's two things that I took from you years ago when you're talking about sales. One is being intentional, and the second is being freaking prepared. And I think salespeople miss that more than anything. And in your book, Chapter 7, you talk about the preparedness of sales and how if you have to stumble on a question that you're asked in a sales proposal or along the sales process, you've messed up because you're not prepared. Where did you get that ingredient? Because obviously it's true, right? I took that from Brad Lea. But why do people miss that in sales, the preparedness?
It blows my mind what people miss. But I think preparation is key to a lot of things, not just sales, but definitely in sales. I mean, sales is a relationship game, really. At the end of the day, you're trying to build trust. And if you want to make a transaction, all you have to do is raise the value of your product or service beyond the value of their money. Well, if you don't have a good relationship, there's no trust, it's hard to do. I always teach people when it comes to sales, if you truly want to be really good at sales, stop selling. I mean, I don't sell anybody anything.
Yeah.
I help people.
Yeah.
That's what I'm focused on. I'm focused on helping the individual solve a problem. I'm not focused on the commission. I know that'll come if and when I can help somebody. Right. So my energy is different. So when I approach somebody, I don't have that energy that some people sense and feel the distrust. Why? Well, because I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm trying to help. And if I can't help you, believe me, I'm not going to take your money, even if you offered it. At the end of the day, I have to believe that I'm helping you. And that's my intention, right?
Yep.
And so my energy is different from the get-go, and it allows me to connect better. It allows people to build trust quicker. And if you just stay with that intention, let me just help this person. There's too many salespeople out there. They're trying to make a commission.
Yep.
I mean, let's just tell the truth. They're trying to get paid. They're trying to feed their family. They're trying to buy cars and pay bills. Their intention is to make money. That's the wrong intention to start with.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about energy and connection and relationships. So just shift the energy over to one of empathy. That's to me the number one trait, I think, for good salespeople is empathy. I believe I'm an empath. I can read people's micro expressions. I don't even know how sometimes.
Yeah.
And they're like, how did you know that? It's just empathy, right?
Yeah.
I can put myself in their position, and all I want to do is help them solve their problem. And coincidentally, that's what, at the end of the day, I think makes me successful in sales. So if anybody's in sales listening to this, it might sound counterintuitive, but I would say stop selling and just look to help. And if you think your product doesn't help anyone, that's probably your issue. You need to go represent someone or something that you believe actually helps. Because if it doesn't help anybody and you're just focused on a commission, you're going to have a much harder battle.
Totally agree. And so speaking of products, man, let's go straight to Lightspeed VT. I know what it does. I know what it is. I was talking to Damon 8 months ago, and he was saying, hey, if you have courses, you need to reach out to Brad Lea. And I was like, amazingly enough, I was going to, right? Because Lightspeed VT, if you have a course, this isn't a pitch, obviously, but if you have a course and you're not using Lightspeed, you're missing it, because it was built by a person whose singular focus was to help people in that space. And so I love for you to tell what made you create it? And then what's the two biggest problems that Lightspeed solves or solutions that it provides for people in courses and sales?
Well, one story answers both those questions. When I stopped being the way I used to be, which was selfish and out for myself, and I was pretty good at sales with that intention. In other words, I was just trying to get paid. So I helped somebody that was making minimum wage, and I watched how it impacted his family. And I thought to myself, man, that feels good. I want to go help other people learn to make more money, because I think money makes a big difference in someone's life. But so I quit my job to go out and start training people like I used to, because I used to be able to pull them out of Burger King and landscaping jobs and turn them into badasses relatively easily. And so I quit my job thinking that I had it all figured out. And when I ran out into the world and started training people, it wasn't working as well. And I couldn't figure out why. So I went back and I kind of just thought about what I used to do. And I realized that there's 4 things that are required to actually train people. And it's good content, right? The right way to do it in the first place. Then there's repetition, practice, and accountability. And without, like, watching a video doesn't train you. Otherwise, I'd be a mixed martial artist, because I watch UFC every weekend. So watching a video isn't it. What Lightspeed does is it delivers good content with repetition, practice, and accountability. And most learning systems or online training that's out there is just a video. And just a video doesn't work. You need good content, repetition, practice, and accountability. So the system was built for those things. And then because I asked questions in real life, it needed to be interactive. And the interactivity allows me to ask questions and respond accordingly. Most linear videos don't do that. So when it comes to somebody that's selling something, we can leverage interactivity to ask questions and make offers within the course itself. Other people that aren't on Lightspeed, they don't get to ask questions and they don't get to make offers within the video itself. So what do? Well, they sell you or give you a video, and then they follow up in email, and they call you and they text you and they try to sell you something after the fact.
Yeah.
When in reality, if they were smarter, they would have embedded questions in the content itself that led to solutions to your problems. So if I were to ask you in your course, for example, so how's your credit? And your credit's bad, and I'm teaching you how to buy real estate. Well, if your credit's bad, wouldn't it help them to fix their credit? So if I knew you had bad credit, I could offer you credit clearing,
Right.
as an example. And the list goes on and on. I mean, there's medicines that help many things, but people buy them for different reasons. So if you wanted to ask, what symptoms are you having? Oh, well, then this will help for that. So the interactivity is crucial. I can take somebody's video course. They call them courses. They're just videos. I can take in someone's video, put it on Lightspeed, embed interactivity, and get more conversion, higher satisfaction, higher engagement, higher comprehension, just because of the interactivity. And then ultimately with the repetition and the tracking and the practicing that's within it,
Yep.
You learn and you actually make a difference. Because again, information alone, as you know, I believe, is not going to do anything. You have to have the information and then apply it. And these courses that are out in the world are usually just videos behind a paywall. Yeah. So you pay your money and there's a video. And some people can learn from them because they voluntarily go through it multiple times. Like you're on my book twice. I guarantee you, if you read that book 10 times, you'll know it better than you do right now.
Right.
Okay, so if someone that read it once, yeah, I read your book. Okay, again, read it again and again and again. Who wants to go to a church from a pastor that read the Bible once? Repetition is the mother of learning.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, that's why I love Brad Lea. He's always going to give it to you straight, no chase. Brad, anything you want to leave the listeners and viewers with? If you could give one tip today, what would that tip be?
It would be basically, it boils down to choices, folks. I mean, look at the choices that you're making from the second you wake up, because the choices that you make determine the road you take. And it really starts with choosing which energy you want to operate in. You can operate in heavenly energy, and no one can stop you from doing that. And you can operate in earthly energy. And there's too many people stuck in the earthly energy. And again, when you realize that God gave us free will, that's the gift.
Yeah.
I mean, when people say, everybody got a gift, we've got lots of gifts, but the main gift, the biggest gift that we were given is free will, which means the ability to choose. And most people don't understand that, like if I busted in your house and said some rude stuff and left, and a jury even agreed that it was rude, and you got mad about it. Use that as an example. Who got you mad? Was it me busting in your house saying rude stuff, or was it you?
Yeah.
Because people don't look at it. Well, he busted in, that's victim mentality. I understand it was rude. I understand I invaded your privacy. I understand all that. But at the end of the day, let's just tell the truth, man.
Yep.
Who decided to get mad? Was it me that got you mad, or was it you that got you mad? And the answer is you got yourself mad. You decided to choose anger. You decided to choose earthly energy. And the energy that you choose will create more of it.
Yep.
So if you know this, and now you do, stop choosing earthly energy and start choosing heavenly energy. It's just a choice, and yours is the power is yours to make it.
Yeah.
So that's what I would leave people with. I mean, it sounds crazy, but it's true. You have the choice to react to anything that happens to you with a heavenly energy or an earthly energy. And if anyone was just blindly listening to me, I would stop choosing earthly energy. All you have to do is stop choosing earthly energy. Well, it's not as easy as that. Victim mentality.
Amen.
Well, it takes too long. Instant gratification.
Yep.
Like, come on, folks. This isn't rocket science. They want us to think it is, but it isn't.
It's not.
It could be a spiritual thing. In other words, let's pretend Satan is real. Well, if Satan's going to influence you and keep you down and keep you depressed and keep you in this earthly energy, and you've got the choice. I've got the choice. He cannot stop me from choosing heavenly energy.
Yeah.
Then why do you keep choosing earthly?
Yes, sir. Brad Lea, some amazing tips. So I'm going to do something. If you're watching, you see the book, Lessons I Learned the Hard Way So You Don't Have to. Here's what I'm going to do. 10 people message me the hard way. I'm giving you a copy. Brad dedicated the book to you, by the way. When you read the dedication, you're there. I love that dedication, Brad, just so you know. I would say that was my favorite part, but I knew that book was for me when I saw it. I was like, that's freaking Brad Lea. 10 people message me the hard way. I don't care if it's Instagram or LinkedIn, because that's where I spend my time. Message me the hard way. First 10 people are getting a book. The rest of you, 11 through a million, you can get this book on Amazon. You can go to Brad Lea's websites. You need this book. So I'm telling you, I've had it for a little over a week, and I'm on my second read, and I will be finished with my second read tonight, and I will be on my third read this weekend. That's how powerful and impactful the lessons in this book are, because I don't care what seat you sit in an organization. I don't care who you are as an individual. This book is for you. Brad, thank you so much, brother.
Mick, thank you for having me. And next time you're in Vegas, hit me up. We'll put you on my podcast.
We will make that happen. I'm there in a couple of months, so we'll do that for sure.
That sounds good, man.
You got it. For all the listeners and viewers, remember, your because is your superpower. Go unleash it.
Thank you for tuning in to Mick Unplugged. Keep pushing your limits, embracing your purpose, and chasing greatness. Until next time, stay unstoppable.